everybody, Blugoblin here. Thank you for joining me for my comic book review for this week of the last week of February 2014. Yeah, I believe this is the last week of February for 2014. I want to thank y'all for joining me as always. I got a decent pile of books here to review. I got some from DC, some from Marvel, and I got two independents that I'm going to save till last. And it's also good to see my bro, TheMtVernonKid, back into doing the comic book reviewing on a regular basis. I'm looking forward to seeing more reviews from him. I really dug his 120th episode. I thought he did a really good job on it. I agree with a lot of his points, which you're going to hear me say that a lot in this video. A lot of things that I'm going to say, he's pretty much already said for me. So keep that in mind. Also, I hope you haven't given up on me as far as Dark Avenger Inc. Plus goes, because I just did a review for Inc. Plus. I reviewed Fantastic Four #1. Thought it was a good book, but that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to tell you, check the link in the description and go to Dark Avenger Inc. Plus's channel and look for my review of Fantastic Four #1. And I hope y'all enjoy it. The next thing I want to do for Inc. Plus is review all five parts of Cataclysm. I'm gonna read the story, and I'm gonna review the story as a whole, not every individual issue. So keep an eye out for that. And don't forget about Jennifer and I. We got our channel, Arkham Asylum Studio. I'm gonna work on a video for that also here in the very near future. So stay tuned to that channel. But enough about that. Let's talk about some comic books. We're gonna start with DC, go through Marvel, and end on Independent. Starting with DC, we're starting off with Aquaman #28. Jeff Parker, Paul Pelletier, Sean Parsons, they all did a great job with this. The artwork in here is just really, really good. The writing in here is also very solid. It's not the best stuff in the world when it comes to Aquaman. As much as I have been shitting on Jeff Johns here lately, Jeff Johns was the better writer for Aquaman. But Jeff Parker does a great job with this character. Very well done. I do like the cover. The cover does look a little badass, but, you know, Arthur goes through a lot of shit in here. He finds out that surface dwellers have built their own, they technically have kind of sort of built their own version of Atlantis, you know, in the underwater, and Arthur's, you know, pissed about it, saying, you have no claims to this, and they're like, well, neither do you, you know, stuff like that. It's like the surface dwellers that built this place is almost kind of like challenging Arthur to basically challenge them, you know, and they just come off as real pricks in that scene. But the biggest danger of all, this is probably one of the most dangerous and one of the most fearsome things Arthur has ever done. He goes to his high school reunion. But I will agree with my bro, TheMtVernonKid. I will agree with him on one thing. Mira. Oh, God damn. Oh, Mira is done really good in here. Not just look-wise, but character-wise as well. I love how Mira is in here. She's almost kind of like teasing Arthur a bit, you know. It's like, oh, they call you Artie? Oh, Artie, your friend here was just telling me how you were in your school days and everything like that. It's just, I still love this couple of Arthur and Mira, even though we deep down know DC really wants to break them up. Why? I don't know. Maybe DC really does get off on superheroes being lonely. But this was told very well. I'm not going to give everything away, but for what I got, I really enjoyed it. Jeff Parker did a great job with the writing. The one-liners were great. The action was good. The drama was good. Not everything hit it. Not everything hit me here the way I thought it should. Really good. Very strong series. This is one of the best series out of the New 52. Excuse me, out of the New 52 right now. And one that I would definitely recommend. This was a really good issue. Moving on to Batman The Dark Knight #28. Yeah, this series is fixing to end in to make way for a Batman weekly title called Batman Eternal, which still on the fence about whether or not I should pick that up. I'm probably going to end up just reading it and then reviewing it on Dark Avenger Inc. Plus when I get a chance to. But as far as collecting it, nah. I'll read it, but I'm not going to buy it. And Chris, if you're watching, do not put Batman Eternal on my pull at Midtown Comics. You know, that's a weekly series. That's too much. I'll read it. I'll probably read it and then review it. But as far as buying it, no. But it'll be sad to see this series go, because this has been one of the better Batman titles on the shelves here lately. And ironically, we may be ending it with a character that I've been really, really digging here in the New 52, and that is Man-Bat. The Man-Bat stuff with Batman, it started in the Detective Comics and it worked its way over here to this series, and I gotta say, the Man-Bat stuff has been incredibly good. Very good stuff. There is a Man-Bat going around Gotham City literally sucking out every drop of blood from innocent people. And when the cops find a body in the beginning of the book, they're saying that the corpse that they find is literally bloodless. No blood at all. This new Man-Bat has sucked it all out. And why do I say this new Man-Bat? Because this Man-Bat is not Kirk Langstrom. And it's not Francine Langstrom either. What I will say is it is a Man-Bat, okay? But I'm not going to spoil who it is. Neither did Chris, so I won't either. But what I will say about this guy, Chris was also right about this. This guy is a grade A, 100% uncut douchebag. I mean, this guy is a douche with a capital fucking bag. And to see what he does once he becomes Man-Bat is really sickening, yet really, really thrilling storytelling. And especially with, with Batman trying his best to figure out a way to stop him. He even creates some sort of a formula to counteract the Man-Bat formula that's flowing through this new Man-Bat's veins. And when he tries to stick the needle in, the new Man-Bat's skin is so thick, the needle just snaps like a twig. And that's when you're thinking, oh shit, what the fuck am I going to do now? It's just really, really good stuff. And that's all I'm going to say about this. This Man-Bat stuff has been fantastic. All the way back from Kirk's problems to the shit with Francine. The shit with Francine was fan-fucking-tastic storytelling. Wasn't perfect, but god damn it, it's some of the best Batman storytelling I've been reading here lately is the Man-Bat stuff. The Man-Bat, She-Bat, the Bat Queen, whatever Francine wants to call herself. I used to call her She-Bat. She called herself the Bat Queen. And then this new Man-Bat. This is just fucking incredible stuff. I love it. Moving on to The Flash, number 28, Possessed by Deadman. I gotta admit, this didn't wow me nearly as much as I wanted it to. I'm glad they explained why Deadman's here all of a sudden out of nowhere, because I read issue 27. I don't recall seeing Deadman going, "Hang on, Flash," and leaping into him at the end of the last issue. I don't recall seeing that, so it's like it's kind of like it just happened out of nowhere, or what, I don't know. But at least they did explain, okay, this is why Deadman's here, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I get that. But, Deadman's trying to help Barry out with this roaming specter who's going around targeting a specific family bloodline, and he's not going to be satisfied until all the members of this bloodline are dead. And this is getting really serious. I actually agree with Chris on one thing. It is better that Deadman is in this story, because if it was just Flash by itself, it would be a little bit too hokey. But with Deadman in here, we get some much added drama. Deadman unfortunately accidentally finds out Flash's secret identity is Barry Allen, and he narrows down suspects to his mom's death and everything. But then, Barry's thinking about DNA and everything, and that leads him back to something that he probably forgot to think about. And then we get to the cliffhanger at the end of the book, and I'm like, oh my fucking god! This was a good issue. I felt like it could have been a little bit better, but I liked it. I was entertained enough. The storytelling was good. Having Deadman in here just out of nowhere, yet it was explained. It does make sense. It adds to the story. It adds to the drama, despite the little one-liners that they try to shoehorn in there every once in a while. But this was really good. A very big, holy fucking shit kind of cliffhanger. Nicely done. DC did a good job here. It's not the best issue out of the series, but it was really good. Moving on to Marvel. Starting Marvel off with Guardians of the Galaxy number 12. This is part 4 of the Trial of Jean Grey. God, Chris, you're right. The Shi'ar, they just come off like really big dicks. That sounded wrong. They come off acting like real dickheads. You know, it's like they just see Jean Grey. You know, and I know it was pointed out way earlier in the story that they know that this is the Jean Grey from the past. So this Jean Grey has not committed these crimes that she's on trial for yet. She doesn't even have possession of the Phoenix Force yet. Yet they just say, it's Jean Grey, just take her and we'll try her. That's it. And even, you know, the gladiator, the leader, the ruler of the Shi'ar, he's even being challenged by his followers saying, do you realize what you've really done? You've taken one of the X-Men. They're going to come after her. They're going to attack us. Do you not realize that? You took an X-Man. They're going to come after her. You know, and of course it registers to him, but you know, he's got this attitude as if he was to say something like, it is what it is. We need to do what we got to do. She needs to go on trial for her crimes. You know, he's kind of got an attitude like that in this book. And Chris also pointed out something else that I've been meaning to say. Where the fuck did Corsair come from? Cyclops' father, Corsair, the star of the Starjammers. Yeah, Chris was 100% right. Last time I checked, he was vaporized by Vulcan. Where the fuck did he come from? How the fuck did he survive that? And what's up with Hepzibah? Yeah, Chris was right again. Last time I checked, he's right. She's on Earth. Where the fuck did she come from? Marvel, you're retconning something here, and you've completely fucked it logically. I mean, it's good to see them again, but the logic is still there. We have memories. Yes, this happened a couple years ago, maybe a few years ago, but we still remember it. We read it. We saw it. What the fuck? Who knows? Bendis was probably told, just write him in. Some fans probably didn't even know he was dead, or he was blown up, or write that he survived, but don't explain it. Don't say nothing about it. Blah, 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 blah. Publish it. You know, sometimes I really think Marvel thinks sometimes that we are just completely fucking stupid and we forget things real easily. Guess what, Marvel? We don't. I don't know why Corsair is back. He looks good considering how he looked the last time I saw him. But enough about that. The story in here with Jean getting tried, it's going very well for the most part. Jean's in deep shit. She knows it. But I'm still anxious to see where this story can go, because it's still very entertaining. It's still very well told. Sarah Pichelli's artwork is fucking incredible. I loved it. Despite the major retcon fuck-up flaws in this story, it's still really compelling and it's still really entertaining. I'd say go ahead and still give it a try. It's still really good stuff. Moving on to The Superior Spider-Man, number 28. Dan Slott, Giuseppe Camuncoli. This is good. This is getting really good. It's nice to see that Ock's world is completely falling apart. And it almost seems like there's nothing he can do to stop it. It's almost, you could practically say that it's inevitable. But despite that, this was very good for the reason that the supporting cast gets a spotlight in here. Everybody. But to me, the one person that truly shines in this book is Mary Jane. Dan Slott, I gotta thank you. And I need to thank you big time. Because it was so refreshing to see MJ actually look like a strong character. Thank you for looking like it. It almost looks like the way the story is told with what MJ does in here. It's almost like you refused to make Mary Jane look like the stereotypical stock cliche damsel in distress. MJ saw that shit was going down. She thought on her feet. She went and she did something about it. And she even proclaimed it herself. In all of this, she is the wild card in this feud that's going on between Norman and Ock. Don't know where they're going to go with that particular part of the angle, but I'm glad to see that MJ looked very, very strong in here. And Dan, I am grateful for that. I've loved this character ever since I first saw her in the comic books. Yes, there were times where MJ looked like the stock cliche damsel in distress, but there were also times where she looked incredibly strong. She looked like an incredibly strong character who was capable of taking care of herself, even when she was married to Spider-Man. You don't believe that? Just ask Jonathan Caesar. Ask the Chameleon. But, yeah, not much else to say in here except, Ock, sorry about your damn luck. This is really good stuff. And the stuff that's going on with Peter while he's in Ock's memories, I won't even get into that. That is just, woo! That is just freaky. That is just beyond freakiness. Kind of makes me wonder in what kind of shape is Peter really going to be in when he comes back? We know he's coming back, but the big question is, what's he going to be like when he does come back? That's the bigger question for me. This was a solid read, a good issue. Take it for what it is. I thought it was good. We're ending Marvel with Wolverine and the X-Men, number 42. This is the last issue before it gets renumbered back to number 1. Because you know Marvel, oh God, we gotta renumber things back to number 1. Oh God, number 1 issues are so fucking awesome. Marvel, please, do yourselves a favor and do us readers a favor. When you got a series going, and it's popular, and it's got a good stretch on it, when it's doing fantastically well, don't stop it at a random issue number and then reset it back to number 1. Keep going with it. This is a good example of that. Fuck renumbering it to number 1. Go to issue 43, then 44. Hell, get it all the way to issue 50 and beyond. Maybe this could have made it to the big issue 100. Who the fuck knows? But no. We gotta renumber everything back to number 1 because we're Marvel and we love number 1 issues more than anybody in the fucking world. Ah. Despite all of that, this was really good. The Jean Grey School's first full-fledged graduation ceremony. These aren't the first students to graduate from the Jean Grey School. Warren Worthington III, the current Angel, was in fact the first graduate of the Jean Grey School. This is the full-fledged, full-blown graduation ceremony for the school. And this issue focuses mainly on one person, Quentin Quire, Kid Omega. He wanted to grow up and be a mutant terrorist. He wanted to be a bad guy. He wanted to be the next Magneto. You know, he wanted to be that next big baddie. He actually wanted to do that. But instead, he has to accept honors. He has to accept being the class president. He has to accept being the most popular kid in school. Any other person would jump at that kind of lifestyle. Quire fucking hates it. The fact that he is the most popular kid in the class, the fact that he is the class president, the fact that he is actually graduating from the Jean Grey School, It's like somebody's torturing him. He hates it. And you know what? God damn it, that makes for good character development. They're sticking to what he wants to be. He wants to be a bad guy. But people are giving him friendship. People are giving him respect. And you know what? Deep down, he does dislike it. But at the same time, it's shown that he's restraining himself to allow these people to do all this stuff for him. So he's not completely as twistedly evil as he wants to be, which is really good character development, which makes for good storytelling. The other side of the storytelling involves Logan as an old man with a grown-up Heidi walking around an abandoned Jean Grey school, and he's wanting to close it down. There's nothing left for it. And I got to agree with Chris on one thing. I hated the old man Wolverine in this issue. I'm used to seeing Wolverine looking old and decrepit, but this is probably the most decrepit he has ever looked. I've seen stories with Wolverine where he actually looks physically older than what he is shown in here, yet he would still be able to go toe-to-toe with, let's say, the Hulk. In here, the way he's drawn, walking around with a cane, he has to, when he pops his claws, he has to actually wait a few minutes for them to fully come out. What the fuck? That was the only part of this book I didn't like, is that they made Wolverine look pathetic as an old man. Where I've seen stories where he's older and he can still go. But Quentin Quire shows back up to old man Logan as the new Phoenix. And he does something in here that I'm not going to ruin. I'm not going to spoil what he does. But what he does, I'm like, pretty well played. What better way to really fuck with Wolverine, yet at the same time show him respect? Nice. I dug it. I really did. This was a solid read. I enjoyed it. I can't wait until... I think this is Jason Aaron's last issue. I forgot to look at the solicits for a while. But I'm going to stay on board with this. Who knows? After Jason Aaron steps away from the title, who knows? Maybe the next creative team will continue to make it good. This was really good. We're moving on to Independent. We're starting off with Dynamite with Legends of Red Sonja number 4. Gail Simone, Marjorie Liu, Mercedes Lackey, Jack Jadson, Phil Noto, Ney Rufino. If I butchered any of those names, I apologize. But Gail Simone, I tip my hat to you, dear lady. And Marjorie Liu, I salute you as well. And I fucked my hair up. Okay. This was good. This was really good. These hunters are still after Red Sonja. There's a couple of stories, and they intercept some people who tell more tales, more legends of Red Sonja. Ha-ha! If you will. Talk about... one of the stories involved Sonja going to a forest to free a god or kill a god or something like that. She's there to help somebody. But, you know, when she helps him, there's something that she takes from him. There's something that she gives to him. She gives herself to him. Yeah. Even warriors like Red Sonja, every once in a while, somebody just needs to get laid. And I just liked how it was handled. It wasn't done, her having sex with this god, this forest god, it wasn't done in a cheesy, fake porno kind of way. It actually looked... Listen to me, I'm describing a fucking sex scene in a goddamn comic book, and I read fucking tarot. But the way it was done, it looked kind of more like artistic in a sense, you know? And it's just one of those scenes, it's just one of those love-making scenes, if you want to call it that, where you're like, okay, she got laid. But then there was something else that was done from that. I thought her and the god did something, but then again, it was something that the god just by himself had done. I'm like, oh, okay. It was a nice little swerve there. And there's also another story about a girl who had been kidnapped, and Sonja had saved her. you see two different perspectives. You see her perspective, and then you see what really happened, and what really happened is just funny as shit. I loved it. This was good stuff. A solid series. Fantastic stuff. I don't only give props to Gail Simone on this Red Sonja series. I give props to her, to Marjorie Liu, to everyone who worked on it. It is really good. This is a mini-series that I would definitely recommend getting the trade if you missed out on it. And we're ending the show with IDW's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 31. Gotta love that Kevin Eastman cover. This is the continuation of the Turtles getting some well-deserved R&R at April's farm. Still hiding out because April's mom and dad still do not know that they're there. Leonardo's still going through his healing. He gets some pep talk from Master Splinter, and that was some really good stuff. Let's see what else happened. Raphael is taking, I believe it was Tai Chi, and Alopex is talking to him, and they're seeming to grow a bond together, and I'd like to see where that can go. And yeah, Chris pointed this out. I'm pointing it out too. Seeing the stuff with Donnie and Casey was just gold. I loved it. Just really, really good stuff. Just fantastic writing. April's got a new haircut. Everybody's like, whoa. Whoa. And that's literally all Casey can say is, whoa. But April and Casey go away for a while, and April and Casey talk about the mutagen, the ooze. Well, it's not mutagen, not the mutagen, but the ooze itself. It turns out that the ooze, without the mutagen chemicals in it, it has a possible healing gift. And Casey was like, Casey and April were like, we can give it to Splinter to heal his leg. We can give it to you. We can give it to Casey. They were like, we can give it to you to heal your stab wound. But they're thinking they should probably try using it on April's dad. Just the ooze, not the mutagen. Because they believe that the ooze without the mutagen properties can possess a strong healing ability. That's interesting. I'd like to see where that plot point can go. Will that be a successful twist in the plot when it comes to the ooze? Or is there going to be that swerve where you think there's no mutagen properties in it, but then, uh-oh, someone fucked up? I'd like to see where that can go. That particular plot point alone is interesting enough I want to see more of that part of the story. But then the book ends with a new mutant coming up who looks like a Falcon, yes, as Chris said. But the Turtles and Splinter are basically fighting a little bit on the handicap side. Splinter's still injured. Casey's not there to help them. Rav's got his hands full dealing with something that he's simply guessing at this point right now. But then the cliffhanger, it was a good one. It was a good cliffhanger, and I dare not ruin it. This was fantastic stuff. IDW continues to nail it over and over again with the Turtles. I'm loving every bit of it. I think you would be too. If you're really interested in this particular run of the Turtles, as my bro suggested, pick up the trades. Read these stories. Get on board with this particular series. It is well worth your time. I promise you, it'll be well worth your money. Fantastic stuff. Some of the darkest, yet some of the most fun stories I've seen from the Turtles in a while. And this is just, I think it's just going to keep getting better and better. Fantastic stuff. I can't really say anything bad about it. Well, that's all I got for this week, everybody. I want to thank y'all for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Don't forget my Blugoblin X channel. My Midtown Comics stashes have returned. My newest one from a week ago is up. Don't forget about Dark Avenger Inc. Plus. And of course, my bro, TheMtVernonKid, his comic book reviews are back. Don't forget about Mark and Chloe at Fast Stack Comics. Arkham Asylum Studio, please subscribe to that channel. Give it some love and give it some support. Follow me on Twitter at Blugoblin01. Follow me on Tumblr, blugoblin.tumblr.com. Thanks again for watching, everybody. And until next time, I'll see you all later.